Hi everybody, Todd Gilbert reporting to you from Richmond. We have a very busy session on our hands. It's the point in the session where we're getting close to what we call crossover, which is when all the House bills go to the Senate, all the Senate bills come over to the House. It means at the end of this process we have a whole lot of bills to deal with, multiple issues coming up every day, a lot of balls in the air right now. The most important thing I think we've got going on this year, as you well know, is our budget. Our budget is in crisis. I have said for a long time that our budget is in crisis because we have a spending problem here in Richmond, just like they do in Washington. Only we don't have the luxury of going out and borrowing money from other countries like our federal government does. I think it's probably good for us in the end that we can't do that, because it means we can't continue to burden you, the taxpayer, with debt. But that leaves us with a finite amount of money to carry out our government services, whether it's education, mental health, public safety. We have obligations that we have to fund, and we have to figure out, and are figuring out right now, exactly what our priorities are. So we're working hard on that. This week we had an announcement from Governor McDonnell that he was going to support an initiative that I actually co-sponsored, which was to restore funding calculations that we've used for 40 years, to restore those the freeze that Governor Kane had put on those funds. The net effect for places like Shenandoah County, Page County, Rappahannock County was that we were going to actually lose money in the recalculation of something that's called the composite index. It's the measure of wealth of every respective county. In our localities, we've had pretty good years in terms of economic activity. We've had revenue growth, we've had increased property values, and because of that, we've actually been hurt by the composite index, because it's lowered the amount of state aid that we receive. Now that the economy is in crisis and our property values have dropped, our tax revenues have dropped locally, we were actually in a position to get more money from the state. And because Governor Kane chose as part of his budget proposal to freeze that money, we were actually looking at losing many hundreds of thousands of dollars across my district for our local school system. So I co-sponsored a measure along with some other delegates here and senators to just restore the funding calculations we've used for years. If your school system got hurt because of increasing revenues in your locality, that's just the way it was. And it shouldn't be that in good times my school systems that I represent get harmed because of these calculations, only to find that when times are not so good and we were actually looking to get more money from the state, that the money isn't going to be there. So I was very encouraged to hear Governor McDonnell say that he was going to support our cause to just do the calculation like we've always done it. Something else that happened today, actually, was one of my bills I'm very proud of that supports the rights of law-abiding gun owners. I've always been a strong Second Amendment advocate. I've always felt like we need to support the rights of law-abiding gun owners. And this afternoon on the House, we've passed a bill by the vote of 67 to 27 that would allow law-abiding concealed permit holders to carry their concealed weapons into a restaurant that serves alcohol. That has been illegal for them to do for many, many years. We trust these people to avail themselves of the right of self-protection everywhere else in our society. We say you can carry a gun anywhere and you can carry it concealed, but we've told them you can't do it in a restaurant. And I see no reason why a law-abiding person who has a permit should become a criminal because he wants to take his family out to dinner and wants to keep his concealed weapon on him for their protection. So I was very proud of that vote this afternoon. I'm always proud to stand up for the rights of gun owners. We're working real hard for them, working real hard for our district to make sure we have the funds we need to fund our services locally, to educate our children, to make sure our sheriff's offices are fully funded, and so on. So we're working hard for you down here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call or email. It's deltgilbert, D-E-L-T Gilbert, at house.virginia.gov is our email address. So feel free to drop us a line. Thank you, and have a good day.